All right, so today we have a new game to play. We had ended up on this little slide last week, right? So what's going to happen? All of these characters are going to perish or die off one by one, and by the end of class, only one person is going to be alive. So guys, choose your survivor. Who do you think is going to be alive at the end of class today? Whoever you choose, you cannot change. Now, I remember doing this a little while ago, so I know the answer, so I cannot play with you guys. So I know who's going to win, right? So send it on the chat. I'm always interested in knowing what you guys choose. Let's get started. All right. All right, so last week we were trying these questions, and we're coming to the end of indices. So I'm going to assume that everybody over the past 2 weeks, you really actually got some of you memorize a lot of these indices laws, and we're just ready to practice the hard questions today. So we're going to start off with, I don't want to scare you all too much. So we're going to start off with question 4. I want everyone to try to solve for x in question 4. It's written kind of small, so give me a chance to write it large. Right? Solve for x. Let's see what you come up with. Right? Try your best not to use calculators. These questions are questions is supposed to be able to do without calculators. And they come a lot in multiple choice exams also. And in case you didn't know, you're not allowed to use a calculator in any multiple choice exam in maths. So I await your answers, and let's see what you get. So we have an equal sign, right? Remember last week I said we cannot compare the left-hand side to the right-hand side unless you have exactly one item on each side of the equal sign. So this side has 2 items, 1, 2, and this side only has 1 item. So you cannot make a comparison. It's not possible. So what you need to do is combine these two on this side to make 1 item. And you could do that by using which rule? By using this rule. Remember, divide means you can subtract the powers. And we do have a divide. So the bases are the same. So you get 2, and you're going to minus your powers. So you get 3x minus 2. And this side, well, you're just left with 4x2 is equal to the power 8. Now, I realize a lot of people made a real huge mistake. How much of you all, and be honest, squish these two together? You said 3x minus 2 is 1x or x. Be honest with me. You said 3x minus 2 is 1x. Right? And based on the responses, a lot of people made that mistake, right? Remember, you cannot simplify 3x minus 2 because this one has an x and this one does not have an x. You cannot simplify it. That is as simple as that will get. But at least something good happened. This side have 1 item now, and this side have 1 item, and both of them have a base of 2. So you can make the comparison. This is equal to 8. So you can make an equation out of that just like last week. So to simplify, you get 3x minus 2 is equal to 8. And you are trying to solve for x. And this is where your algebra skills will come in now. To solve for x, you throw across minus 2, you get positive 2. 8 plus 2 is 10, so you get 3x is equal to what? 10. We still have to solve for x. The 3 is a multiply, you get a divide. I run another space here, so I'll write here. Therefore, x is equal to 10 on 3 or 3 on 1/3. Anyhow you want to write it. Number 10 on 3 is the same thing as 1/3. Right? For those who got it wrong, you think you understand it. Now, I don't think anybody got it correct. I think everyone got it wrong, right? Right, so look at the answers and let me know if you spotted your mistake. Divide means to minus your powers. All right, so that's okay. If you get the first one wrong, we know warming up. We know now warming up. Right, so let's clear it up here, right? This is the working for number 5. Just double checking to make sure I have no mistakes. Now we good there. So people are working on number 6 already, right? Two to the power 2x. This one has a small trick in it. Let's hope you didn't fall for it. 2 to the power minus 3 is equal to 2 to the power 8. Right. So once again, it has a divide. And we know divide means to do what? Minus the powers once the bases are the same. And the bases are the same on the left-hand side. So you have a 2x here, but there's a small trick here. It's minus 3. Minus 3. So you have 2 to the power. You have 2x here. Divide means to do what if we use this formula? Minus. But what we have waiting here? Another minus 3. So you end up with 2 minus signs, touching. So the 2 minus signs here touch, right? So you're going to get what? A positive. So you're going to get 2 to the power 2x plus 3 is equal to 2 to the power 8. So we can definitely make a comparison now, right? We have one base on this side, one base. So the powers, well, you can equate them. So let's equate them here. 2x plus 3 is equal to 8. So solve for x, throw across positive 3, you get minus 3. 8 minus 3 is 5, so you get 2x is equal to 5. 2 is a multiply, throw it across, you'll get a divide. Therefore, x is equal to 2.5. Right, so, or 2.5, yeah, but 2.5 is the same thing as 2.5, so you can use any one. Let's see, number 7. 2 to the power 2x divided by 2 to the power 8 is equal to 2 to the power minus 3, right? All of these questions looks very, very similar. And then after this, I have more. So we make our little equation, right? Right. So did I do something wrong? You all hearing me? Okay, that's someone, guys. All right. So based on where I just left off, we're putting the indices or the powers equal to each other, right? So I put these two things equal. It's just a matter of your algebra skill now. Throw across the minus 8, you're going to get positive 8. So you're ending up with 2x is equal to minus 3 plus 8 is 5, right? Because the 8 is larger than the 3. So then the 2 is a multiply. Throw it across, you get a divide. So x is equal to 2.5. Right, so that's number 7, 2.5, and that was pretty popular, right, within the answers. So let's do the last one now, number 8. I'm not erasing all the working. Let's erase the top at least here, because the question is on the screen. So let's do number 8, and then I have my own question to try to trick you guys here, right? Number 8. 2 to the power 2 multiply. I'm glad how the brain are multiply this time. All the other questions was divide, right? And you're going to put this 2 to the power minus 3. Right. So multiply means to do what now? Add the powers. Because if divide means to minus the powers, then multiply has to be the opposite. So the bases are the same. So 2 to the power 2 plus 8x this time, because it's a multiply, is equal to 2 to the power minus 3. Well, equate the powers. So you get 2 plus 8x is equal to minus 3. Throw across the positive 2, you get minus 2. So you get 8x is equal to minus 5, because minus 3 minus 2 is minus 5. The 8 is a multiply, you're going to get what? A divide. So the answer is minus 5 over 8, or minus 5/8. Now, I don't want you all to use your calculator. So you can leave your answer as minus 5/8. And you will have it correct from there. Or if you memorize that 5/8 is the same thing as 6.25, well, you can put 0.625 as well. All right, so that's my answer for number 8. So let me see, give you a few seconds, and I have my own made-up question I want to try to trick you with. So the major problem is the bases are different. So you can't really use the rules. You can't really say, you can't minus the powers or use any of the rules, because as you all told me over and over in the chat, the bases are different. You can only apply the rules if the bases are the same, but you have a 2 here, a 4 here, and a 8 here. But how much of you all remember this? If you have 2 to the power 3x divided, isn't 4, I'm going to write it on the side here, isn't 4 the same thing as 2 squared, or 2 to the power 2? It's going to be a little substitution game where you throw something away and replace it with something of equal value. So check this. This Mr. 4, I could throw him away and put what in its place? 2 to the power 2. So you have 2 to the power 2, and what you have waiting on the outside here, minus 2. So you replace the 4 alone with 2 squared, and what waiting on the outside according to the question? Minus 2. Everybody with me so far? It come like this. Let me say you have a store and you're selling Jello for whatever reason for $4. And somebody asks you, hey, what's the price of the Jello? Instead of saying $4, you say it's 2 squared dollars. You didn't lie. You're just going to sound like a weirdo, right? But you didn't lie, right? 2 squared is 4. And who could tell me what you could replace the 8 with? Because we need everything to have the same base. 8 is the same thing as what? What would you all replace the 8 with? 2 to the power? Right, Clement, correct. Anybody else? No, Maya. Nama gave you all a chat. 2 weeks ago, I told you 8 is 2 to the power 3. Look at it, your chart from about 2 weeks ago, the first class for this year. 8 is the same thing as 2 to the power 3. So replace the 8, throw the 8 away, in other words, and put 2 to the power 3. Are all the bases the same now? Look at it. You have a 2 here, a 2 here, and a 2 here. And what do you do when 2 powers are separated by brackets? Once again, all of this is from last week. When 2 powers are separated by brackets, we multiply, correct. So you could simplify this even more. These 2 powers are separated by brackets. So let's hear me out here. So you have 2 to the power 3x divided by 2. 2 multiplied by minus 2 is minus 4. 2 multiplied by minus 2 is minus 4. You think you all can do the question for me now? You can finish it off? It come like, if you look at the green writing, it come like a regular boring question like one of these, right? All the bases are the same now, and you have a divide here. So you can use this rule now, right? Right, so. All right, so I try to catch you with a minus sign here. So you have a 3x here, a divide, and a minus 4. So divide means you can minus the powers. So I think you're already guessing that 2 minus signs are going to come together. So you're going to get 2 to the power 3x Divide means the minus. So minus 4 is positive 4. How much people had up to there that you got a positive 4, that you realize you divide means the minus, and you had a next minus 4 waiting for you. So two minus signs touch to give you a positive. Great. No one should be falling for that trick at this point in time, since we did so much examples on it. But we're not finished. You have to compare the powers now, because you have exactly 1, 2 on this side and exactly 1, 2. So equate the powers. 3x plus 4 is equal to 3. The positive 4, throw it across, you get minus 4. So you end up with 3x. 3 minus 4 is minus 1. Basic arithmetic. The 4 larger than the 3. And then the 3 is a multiply, throw it across, you get a divide. So x is minus 1/3. For those who got minus 1/3, I will give you your imaginary $1 million as soon as possible. Right? Not positive 1/3, eh? Negative 1/3. Right? Right, so you see how algebra is super important. And not only that, replacing things of equivalent value. That's a very important skill in maths. Like, for example, another example of replacing something in maths. Let's say you're selling popcorn and the popcorn costs $10. And somebody asks you, hey, well, what's the price of the popcorn? You could say 10, or you could say 2 multiplied by 5. I know nobody does speak like that in real life. Because if you went movie town and you asked for the price of popcorn and the person said, the price of the popcorn is 2 multiplied by $5, you go watch them funny, right? But that's legal. You could do that if you wish. You might just get punched in the face more often, right? Like me, right? So, all right, guys, y'all ready for another one? A question of y'all know what is harder than a question of doom? A question of doom squared. So we're gonna try that. A question of doom squared. And you're gonna realize that 2 is not the only base out there, you know, right? Remember, the bases could be 3, it could be 5, it could be something else. Right? So let me see if I can make up a question on the spot here. We're gonna solve for x. You have 3 to the power 4x multiplied by 9 squared is equal to 81. Try that question. I didn't even put any negative signs in this one, right? I didn't put no one, hoping everyone could get this one correct. Right? The final answer for the last question, right? There are 2 ways you can write it. X is minus 1/3, but minus 1/3 is the same thing as negative 1/3, because the 1 is negative and the 3 is positive. When you divide a negative by a positive, you ultimately get a negative. You can write it like this with the negative 1 on top and the 3 underneath, or you can put 1/3 and next to it put a minus sign. Anyone is correct, right? Don't let that bug you. You're going to realize that this question has nothing to do with 2's. If you realize that everybody's a kind of factor of 3, meaning that 3 is, but I gave you 3 to the power 4x, but isn't 9? Don't we express 9 in terms of 3? Isn't 9 the same thing as 3 squared? So I could throw away this 9 and replace him with what? 3 squared. But what you have waiting on the outside for him are 2. Everybody good up to there? Everybody good up to there? That all I did was replace Mr. 9 with 3 squared. That is all I did. Nothing magical. And if you look at your table from the first week of class for the year, 8 is the same thing as 3 to the power how much? I had asked you all to memorize those values. 81 is the same thing as 3 to the power, right, 4. Great. So you all have that, 3 to the power 4. These 2 powers are separated by brackets. Look at brackets here. And we know what to do when powers are separated by brackets. We multiply. So we get 3 to the power 4x multiplied by 3 to the power 4. 2 multiplied by 2 is 4, is equal to 3 to the power 4. How much people at least had up to there? Like you were able to get this expression. You notice everybody have a 3 as the base now. All the bases are the same. So that's good. We moved in the right direction. What does multiply mean to do with the powers? Add. So let's add the powers. 4x plus 4. 4x plus 4 is equal to 3 to the power 4. Right? We can equate the powers now. So we get 4x plus 4 is equal to 4. We just have to solve for x now. When you throw across positive 4, you get minus 4. How much is 4 minus 4? 0. And now this 4, the last 4, is a multiply. Throw him across, you get a divide. 0 divided by 4 is 0. So for the people who got 0, you all have it correct. Well done. Even if you got it wrong and you submitted an answer, still well-ish done because you still tried, right? So the answer is 0. Look for your mistake, right? Right. So Trey, yes, you could have done it that way. Oof, I think my voice getting hoarse. All right, yes. Our first person. Who do you think is going to be the first to meet their doom? Like I said, I know all the answers for this one by heart. Somebody have it out for chops. Somebody doesn't like chops, and somebody doesn't like Suzanne for some reason. All right, guys, let's see who is the first to meet their doom. The first person to meet their, oh, we're sorry to announce the death of Chops Le Martins. So I guess Chops was from France. Chops, a dedicated vegan, was found bearing multiple carrot stab wounds. Police suspect Chops was assassinated by a prominent gangster called Lil Quack. Here we have a little picture of how Lil Quack looks after an illegal vegetable deal went sour. Bye-bye, Chops. See you in the afterlife. Anybody out of the game? Did anybody choose Chops at the beginning of the game? If you did, you are out. Of course, you can still participate, but check little Quack here with his little gangster clothes here. Oh, Sharazim, you're out. Lord. All right, guys. So here's one I want you to try on your own, right? If you look back at your table from the beginning on our first week of class, you will realize that 125 and 25 are underlining it here, can be replaced by 5 to the power something. So this question, instead of 2s and 3s, it's the number 5. Good luck. Okay? Let's see what you come up with. A little bit. All right. So I think we can really reduce 5 to the power 4x. So we have a multiply. 125, if you look back in your notes, 125 is the same thing as 5 to the power 3. If you multiply 5 by next 5, I guarantee you will get 125. But we have this annoying 2 outside. That's this 2 here. So you just replace the 125 with 5 to the power 3. And 25 is this, what everybody knows this from primary school. 25 is the same thing as 5 what? Squared. And we have a 12 waiting on the outside. How much people got this one correct? Come on, Aaron, you should be the number 1 person to send an answer. All right? All right. right? Don't worry, Aaron. People are sending their sympathies. I know you can't see the messages, but people are sending their sympathies on this side, telling you not to worry. They'll pray for you and stuff like that. All right. So we're good here, guys. We're good. We're good. So, but aren't these two powers separated by brackets? And aren't these two powers also separated by brackets? So I think we can multiply them, right? 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. And 2 by 12 is 24. I think everyone should at least get up to there, right? The multiplying part. Now we could simplify. All of them have 5s in it. Multiply means you can add the powers. That's this rule here, right? So you get 4x plus 6 is equal to 5 to the power 24. We can definitely equate these powers now. So we have 4x plus 6 is equal to 24, and your algebra skills are just going to kick in from this point. Throw across the positive 6, you get minus 6. 24, I'll run another space there. I'll write it up here. 24 minus 6 is 18. The 4 is a multiply. Throw it across, you get a divide. So you get 18 over 4, or you can reduce it to 9 on 2, or 4.5. Right. So here's what. A lot of people got it correct. I mean, a few people got it wrong, but I think enough people got it correct to spare Aaron's life. So Aaron, you don't get thrown into the cauldron. Your life has been spared. All right, so live life to the fullest, Aaron. All right. For those who got it wrong, you think you saw your mistake? I like feedback. You just don't sit down quiet there. If you got it wrong and you see a mistake, say something, right? Right? I'm always interested in knowing. All right, next on the list. So Chops is gone. Chops Limouton is gone. So who do you think is next to go, guys? Who do you think is next on the list here? Somebody said Tommy. Somebody has some kind of vendetta against Tommy here. Suzanne. Why do so many people hate Suzanne? What's Suzanne? Who is Suzanne? Oh, the old lady. Right. All right, let's see who's next to go. We're sorry to announce the death of Suzanne Otis. On her 89th birthday, Suzanne decided she wanted to try surfing on the coast of Australia. Unfortunately, while attempting a triple 360-degree backflip, she fell into the ocean and a shark got her. Poor Suzanne. Well, she made it to 89. That's a nice age. Let's move on. Yeah, I think this is the second time I'm playing this game. All right, guys. I want you all to spot the mistake in this question. I want you all to tell me where the error has occurred. I'm going to call it by different lines, right? So we could, this is somebody else working, and I want you all to spot the error. So tell me where the error is. There's someone. Let me label it. In which line is the error? And today's person whose life is on the line. Let me go to the bottom here. All right. Because it's kind of unfair to start at the top of the list. Today's life is on the line by Zoriah, right? So our little cauldron here. Oh, I keep drawing back this cauldron every time. Right, so this will be Soraya. Hear me, that's Soraya. Zoriah. That's that. All right, so do this one for Zoriah, people. Where is the error? Somebody had to be it, Zoriah. Somebody. This one. Right. So the original question is here. You start off with 4x to the power 3. So the power is x to the power 3. And then you have 2 to the power 9. Now, you can't make a comparison as yet because the base here is 4 and the base here is 2. The bases need to be the same. By now, we know we can replace 4 with what? 2 to the power 2. We know 4 is 2 squared. So we throw away the 4 and replace it with 2 squared. But what power is waiting? X plus 3. Everybody's okay so far? Well, we almost up to the error. The error is going to come just now. All we did was replace the 4 with 2 squared, and the power waiting was x to the power 3. Great. So let's move over here now, where I have some space. Now look at this carefully. When you have two powers separated by brackets, aren't we supposed to multiply the powers? So we have 2 here, but look at the mistake they made up here. Aren't we supposed to multiply this entire thing by 2? Look at what they did up here. They only multiply the x by the 2. They forgot to multiply the 3 by the 2. So look at the error. The error is in line 3. It's supposed to be this. 2x plus 6. Because this entire power, the x plus 3, the whole thing gets multiplied by 2. So the x gets multiplied by 2, but also the 3. That is where the 6 comes in. Can you all finish out the question from there now to get the correct answer? Right? The two bases are the same. The two bases are the same. All right? You can compare the powers now because you have exactly one base on each side and they are the same. Right? So send your final. Let's see who has it right and who has it wrong. So I'm going to move up here, right? So you have 2x plus 6 is equal to 9. Plus 6, throw it across, you get minus 6. Well, anybody can minus 9 and 6, you'll get 3. And the 2 is a multiply, throw it across, we get a divide. The answer is 3 over 2 or 1.5 or 1.5. All right, Zoraya, get away. Too much people got that correct. Your life has been spared. And Deshaun is disappointed. He needs to see blood and heads roll. All right, so I'm going to choose, we'll move on in a little while, and then we'll choose somebody close to the middle of the list of our, of my rule here. Right, so we did somebody name started with A. We went down to the end of the rule where a person name started with Z. We'll choose somebody in the middle. All right, guys, let's move on to the next slide. We're doing good so far. A lot of participation. Keep it up. So remember, it's a divide, right? So and divide, and the bases are the same, right? You have y and y. And then divide means to minus. So we could use the minus rule. So you have y to the power 3/4 minus, because that's divide. But who waiting here? A next minus, a minus a quarter. So when you simplify this, right, number 2 minus signs will touch to give you a positive. So you end up with 3/4 plus a quarter. If you have 3/4 of a cake and you add a quarter, won't you get 1 or a whole, right? Now, when something is to the power 1, don't get me wrong, this is correct, y to the power 1. But when it's to the power 1, you could leave out the 1. The 1 is understood. The reason I had to ask this question is because of the fractions. I know the fractions would have freaked people out, but the examiner could bring that, okay? Right? So sorry, Kyles, too much people got this wrong. I can't let this one slide. So unfortunately, guys, the Kyles, sorry, guys, it really, really hurts my heart here to do this. All right. So sorry. All right. All right. Take down the answers, right? Take down the working for D. right? I shouldn't feel too bad. This wasn't my fault. The people who got it wrong, it was their fault. I have a clear conscience here. All right. So here's what I want you all to do. Let me see if I can trick you all with this one. G. You think you can work out G for me? Work out G, right? Well, the cauldron is already there, so might as well. We're going to choose somebody else here. Please don't get G wrong. I even telling you up front, don't overthink it. Next on the list. How about Junior? We'll choose Junior today. Junior Greenway. Hi, Junior. Do this for Junior, guys. All right, so I'm going to erase the old work in here, right? The G. You have Q to the power a quarter and 0. Oh, Ambrose, what are you doing to Mr. Junior? Right. Right. Poor Junior. You all did this to Junior. You all did this. You all did this. Poor Junior. All right, so let's move on. Right. So, and there's a reason I gave you all this one here, right? The powers are separated by brackets. I think we at least realized that, and we had to multiply the powers, right? So it's a quarter multiplied by 0. And a few of you all remember, not everybody, anything multiplied by 0 is how much? How much is 0 multiplied? Guys, 0 multiplied by anything is 0. A quarter multiplied by 0 is 0. Now, the question is not finished. We end up with q to the power 0. But here the next question, and I did this on the first day of class. Anything to the power 0 is how much? 1. Your final answer is 1. Not q to the power 1, but 1. Anything to the power 0 boils down to 1. Right? So some people said the answer kind of like they said q to the power 0 or q to the power 1. Q to the power 1 is also wrong because q to the power 1 is q. That's different from 1. The final answer is just a number 1, right? Lord, I'm not going to put myself into this game. And next to the cauldron, everybody just going to get it wrong on purpose. All right? Everybody's going to get it wrong. Right? I know better. All right. So let's move on, right? We have a little game after here, right? Let's see who's next on the list here. Susan going, Chops going. Who do you think is next to go, guys? Who do you think is next to go? Somebody said Teal, somebody Jin. Oh, Lord. Let's go. Next on the list, we're sorry to announce the death of who? Oh, God, something is blocking my view here. Oh, the death of Tommy Van Duke. On his 31st birthday, he visited the zoo and apparently a hippopotamus got loose. Poor Tommy, didn't make it. So Tommy is going, guys. Tommy is going. All right, guys. So let's see the time here. It's half past here. Right. So we have to do at least one of these questions. I don't want to start with the scariest one first. So I'm going to start with C. I'm going to work out C for you, right? So nobody's get thrown into the cauldron at the moment because I'm working this one out. So let me write back C here. You have a to the power 3 multiplied by a to the power minus 2 divided by a. First of all, let us get this out of the way. It's a simplification question. This a has a power 3. This a has a power minus 2. When you don't see a power, how much is the power automatically supposed to be? What do you all remember telling you guys? When something does not have a power, how much is the power automatically? 1, correct. So the first thing in this question is to write back the question and put the 1 by the 8. Everyone take down up to there. Don't ever imagine a power 1 when you're trying to do a question. Physically put it in. So this question has two parts now. It has a top part with a multiply and a divide part. Now, you can't do both at the same time. That's just going to mix you up. I'm going to do the top part first. Remember, multiply means to do what with the powers? Add. So for the top, remember the top, we're handling the top separately. The top multiply means to add the power. So 3 plus minus 2. A plus and a minus is a minus. 3 minus 2 is 1. So it's a to the power 1. So we work out the top first. And then underneath, you have a to the power 1 weighted. Now, we have two ways we could do this, right? Divide means to do what with the powers? Doesn't divide means you can minus the powers? 1 minus 1 is how much? 0. Anything to the power 0 is how much? 1. Or you could have said, if you divide two same things, you would get what? 1. So in these types of questions, you work out the top separately, and then you work out the underneath. Do not try to do both of them at the same time. You think you all could try D for me? Like, take down the answer for C, but I want you all to try D for me afterwards. Right, I'm gonna go to my list here and see. The person, for this one to be fair, according to the list, the person name will need to start with either R or S. We're going 3/4 ways down now. R or S. Rashawn, you're up. Rashawn Gill, you are up. All right. So while you all try D, I will draw up some. So you have for D, C squared multiplied by C to the power minus 2 and C to the power minus 1. All right, let's work out the top first now. The top has a plus, right? Because a multiply means you're going to add. So you end up with 2 plus minus 2. Now a plus and a minus is a minus. So you're going to end up with 2 minus 2. So you get C to the power 0. You can leave it as that for the time being. Leave it as C to the power 0 on top. But underneath, you have C to the power minus 1 weighted. Divide means you can minus the power. So let me do this in slow motion here. So you put back the C, because both of them have the same base. The top is 0. Divide means to do what with the powers? Minus. But what weighted underneath? And a minus 1. So you end up with 0 minus minus 1. When two minus signs touch, you get a positive. How much is 0 plus 1? Positive 1. So the answer is C to the power positive 1 or just C? Not minus 1. For those who got it wrong, right? For those who got it wrong, you think you see a mistake, that minus sign underneath trick you all, right? Right? Let me know, guys. A lot of people did get it wrong, so let me know. Right? But more importantly, it's time to push Sarah and Rashawn into here. Right. Take care of business first. All right. All right, guys. So it's 6:37. I want to spend the rest of class just quickly going through the new set of homework.